So I know most of the news over the last week has basically been a lot of good news for Donald Trump, whether it's the Supreme Court rulings, the delay in his sentencing, or the polls showing that he is once again firmly on top in this presidential race. But every now and then, there is a good story about bad news for Donald Trump, and one of those did happen this week. And it's actually quite hilarious. Donald Trump's 2 golf courses in the state of New Jersey have lost their liquor licenses due to the fact that Donald Trump, the guy who owns those golf courses, is a convicted felon. Because under New Jersey law, no liquor license shall be issued to any person under the age of 18 years or to any person who has been convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude. So the state of New Jersey is going to have to hold a hearing on whether or not Donald Trump's 2 golf courses there are even allowed to serve alcohol anymore. And their licenses did expire this past Sunday, but, and this is where things get even weirder, they were granted an interim liquor license. So for the time being, they said, you can go ahead and continue serving alcohol. You have a temporary license, but after your sentencing on July 11th, then we're going to have our hearing to determine whether or not we can let a felon serve alcohol in our state. And then, of course, Judge Juan Merchan said, hey, I'm not going to do the sentencing on July 11th. I'm going to do it on September 18th if I'm going to do it at all. So now the entire thing has been thrown into total and complete chaos because he has the temporary liquor licenses that only grant him, a certain number of days where he can serve alcohol without a real license, but the state can't issue a real license while the matter in the New York courts is still pending. So what's going to happen now, because Merchan moved the sentencing date, is that those interim licenses will expire before we get to September 18th, which means either they're going to have to reapply for another temporary license, or the state could just get frustrated and say, you know what? We're just going to not give you a license until after your sentencing. Again, absolutely hilarious, because as any golfers out there know, one of the big drivers, and I don't mean that as a pun, for golf courses, right, where they make a lot of money, is the alcohol sales. Not being able to serve alcohol to people on a golf course or people after they golf going into, the 19th hole, as they call it, it's going to be very difficult for them to turn a huge profit when they can't get these people all liquored up. They can't serve them alcohol at dinner. I mean, that is a huge loss for the Trump organization. And of course, Trump's lawyers and his organization are trying to argue like, hey, Trump's not an office holder of the Trump organization or of the golf courses that bear his name. So therefore you have to give us a license because he doesn't have a financial stake in it, which is the dumbest argument I've ever heard. And it's very easy to refute. So as they're arguing with the state, they're straight up lying to them about Trump's financial interest in this. So it is a weird, wacky story that's definitely not good for Donald Trump. And as it goes on, it's probably going to get worse for him in the coming months. Hey everybody, I don't know if you've noticed this, but we are closing in on a pretty major milestone here at Fair and Balanced as we approach 500,000 subscribers. But we're not there yet, and we definitely need your support. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel, and don't forget, like and comment on the videos and share them as widely as possible.